There is a particular kind of tiredness that doesn't show up on the surface. It doesn't always look like tears, breakdowns, or dramatic moments of collapse. Instead, it looks like a polite smile. It looks like I'm fine. It looks like showing up, answering messages, doing your job, and taking care of everyone else while quietly feeling hollow inside. This is the psychology of people who pretend they're fine while being emotionally exhausted, and it is far more common than most people realize. Many emotionally exhausted people don't even recognize their exhaustion at first. They just feel off. Less excited about things that used to matter. More irritated than usual. More numb. More distant from their own emotions. They wake up tired even after sleeping. They feel overwhelmed by small things. They replay conversations in their head. They feel guilty for resting. They feel weak for needing help. And yet, when someone asks how they're doing, the automatic response appears, "I'm okay. I'm fine." This pattern rarely starts in adulthood. It usually begins much earlier, in environments where emotional needs were minimized, misunderstood, or quietly discouraged. Many people who grow up emotionally exhausted learned very young that their feelings were inconvenient. Maybe they were told they were too sensitive. Maybe they watched a parent struggle and decided not to add to the burden. Maybe they were praised for being strong, mature, or independent. Maybe they learned that expressing sadness, fear, or confusion didn't lead to comfort, it led to dismissal, criticism, or silence. Over time, they adapted. They learned to regulate themselves without asking for help. They learned to smile through discomfort. They learned to perform emotional stability even when they didn't feel it. This wasn't weakness. It was survival. It was a child learning how to stay emotionally safe in the only way available. As adults, this survival strategy often becomes a personality trait. They become the reliable one. The calm one. The listener. The helper. The person who never seems to fall apart. Others come to depend on them emotionally. Friends vent to them. Family leans on them. Colleagues trust them. And they fulfill that role beautifully on the outside. Inside, however, something different is happening. They are constantly monitoring themselves. Am I being too much? Am I asking for too much? Am I disappointing anyone? Am I allowed to feel this tired? Am I weak for needing rest? They become experts at emotional self-policing. Every feeling is filtered before it's expressed. Every vulnerability is questioned. Every need is negotiated internally before it ever reaches another person. Emotional exhaustion builds slowly in this environment. It isn't caused by one big event. It's caused by thousands of small moments of self-denial. Not saying you're overwhelmed. Not admitting you're hurt. Not asking for reassurance. Not resting when you're tired. Not setting boundaries. Not saying no. Not letting yourself be seen in your messy, confused, imperfect states. Instead, you become skilled at emotional masking. Masking is when you present an acceptable version of yourself to the world, even when it doesn't match your internal reality. You laugh when you're drained. You reassure others when you need reassurance. You give energy when you have none left. You comfort others while feeling empty yourself. At first, masking feels empowering. It makes you feel competent. In control. Resilient. You tell yourself, I can handle it. And maybe you can, for a while. But emotions that are not expressed don't disappear. They accumulate. They settle into the body and mind. They turn into chronic tension. Brain fog. irritability, emotional numbness, anxiety, low motivation, a sense of detachment from life. You start feeling like you're watching your own life rather than living it. Many emotionally exhausted people are surprised when they eventually burn out. They think, I've been managing. I've been strong. Why do I suddenly feel like I'm falling apart? The truth is, they've been falling apart quietly for years. They've just been very good at hiding it. This exhaustion also affects relationships. On the surface, these individuals often seem socially successful. People like them, trust them, appreciate them. But emotionally, their relationships can feel unbalanced. They give more than they receive. They listen more than they're heard. They support more than they're supported. When someone asks how they're really doing, they may feel uncomfortable. Vulnerability feels unfamiliar, unsafe, exposing. They might worry that sharing their struggles will burden others or change how they're perceived. So they keep it light. They keep it vague. They keep it contained. Over time, this creates loneliness not because they lack people, but because few people truly know them. Another important piece of this psychology is perfectionism and self-worth. Many emotionally exhausted people unconsciously tie their value to usefulness. They believe, I matter because I help. I matter because I perform. I matter because I don't cause problems. Rest feels undeserved. Asking for help feels like failure. Slowing down feels irresponsible. They may push themselves long after their emotional reserves are empty. They may ignore signs of burnout. They may downplay their struggles. They may compare themselves to others and think, everyone else is handling life. Why can't I? What they don't realize is that many people who handle life are also struggling, just in different ways. Emotionally exhausted individuals often struggle with emotional awareness as well. Because they learn to suppress feelings early, they may have trouble identifying what they're feeling now. Instead of clear emotions, they experience vague discomfort, restlessness, emptiness, a sense of being off. They may feel disconnected from joy, detached from excitement, unmoved by things that once mattered. This isn't because they are broken. It's because their nervous system has been in survival mode for too long. When you constantly prioritize others, minimize yourself, and stay emotionally guarded, your body remains in a subtle state of stress. It's always alert, always scanning, always preparing. Over time, this wears you down. Healing begins with permission. Permission to admit that you are tired. Permission to acknowledge that being strong has cost you something. Permission to recognize that surviving is not the same as thriving. Permission to stop pretending. This doesn't mean becoming negative or giving up. It means becoming honest with yourself first. It means noticing when you're overwhelmed instead of ignoring it. It means pausing before saying I'm fine and asking yourself, am I really? It means letting small moments of vulnerability exist. It means practicing receiving instead of only giving. For many people, this is uncomfortable at first. Vulnerability feels risky. It feels unfamiliar. It may even feel selfish. But emotional health requires reciprocity. You deserve support just as much as anyone else. Learning to rest is another essential part of healing. Not just physical rest, but emotional rest. Rest from performing. Rest from proving. Rest from carrying everything alone. Rest from constantly managing others' expectations. You are allowed to exist without earning your place through exhaustion. You are allowed to have needs. You are allowed to feel deeply. You are allowed to say, "I'm not okay today." Another powerful step is learning to set boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are bridges that protect your energy. Saying no. Limiting emotional labor. Taking space when needed. Choosing yourself without guilt. These are not acts of selfishness. They are acts of survival and self-respect. Over time, as you practice honesty, rest, and boundaries, something begins to shift. Your emotional system learns that it is safe to feel, safe to express, safe to receive, safe to be imperfect. The mask slowly becomes unnecessary. You start experiencing life more fully again. Colors feel brighter. Moments feel richer. Relationships feel more balanced. You feel more present in your own body. More connected to your own needs. More compassionate toward yourself. You may still have tired days. You may still have moments of doubt. Healing is not a straight line. But you will no longer be carrying everything alone in silence. If you are someone who has been pretending you're fine while feeling emotionally exhausted, know this: nothing is wrong with you. You adapted to survive. You learned strength in difficult circumstances. You became resilient in ways others may never see. But you don't have to live in survival mode forever. You deserve softness. You deserve rest. You deserve to be cared for, not just relied upon. You deserve to be honest about your pain without fear. You deserve to take up emotional space. And most importantly, you deserve to experience life without constantly pushing yourself beyond your limits. Healing is possible. Not by becoming stronger, but by becoming gentler with yourself. By listening to your inner voice instead of silencing it. By honoring your humanity instead of hiding it. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to be fine to be worthy. You are allowed to be real. And that is where true peace begins.